All right, hey, welcome back to the show. I'm Great Grandpa BB. I'm here with Carla Harvey. Charla Harvey.
Thanks for asking.
Okay, yeah. Sweet, yeah. We were just talking about baking food, really, right?
Yeah.
Like that. We're in Boulder, Colorado right now.
Technically in Louisville.
Louisville.
We're like right next to Boulder.
Yeah, on the north side of Denver. Okay.
Yeah. We're in Colorado.
Yeah. And so we're a mile high, which is about 5,000 feet.
Yeah.
I was reading this morning.
Yeah.
And so you have to bake things with a different level, like different amounts of ingredients, is what you're saying?
Yeah, like you have to change the recipe for higher elevation.
Okay.
I don't know full details, so I'm not gonna.
Oh,
don't quote me on that, but.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say something about that too.
Yeah.
I guess was I know at higher elevations, water boils easier too.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to change the temperature when you're baking something.
Yeah.
You might not bake it as long, or you might have to lower the temperature.
Okay.
But it can go the opposite way too. That's why I'm like, don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I remember reading about air pressure is less at higher elevations, and it takes less heat to boil water.
Yeah.
I always found that fascinating,
Yeah. Stronger hearts up here.
What's that?
Stronger hearts up here.
Nice, yeah. I'm learning, But as soon as I got here, one of the first people I met was like, all right, remember to stay dehydrated at these higher levels, and then he just misspoke.
Okay.
And I was like, is it because my blood will boil? I was confused.
Definitely stay hydrated.
Yeah, I woke up with I got into Denver the first day, and then went straight to Leadville, which is 10,000 feet, 2 miles in the air, and woke up the next morning and just massive headache, and I was like, okay, I am understanding how this works now.
Yeah.
But you live here. Are you from here originally? Or?
No, I'm from Maryland.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sea level.
Crab cakes.
Yes.
I don't know. I haven't been there many times.
That's okay.
But so you're here now, and you're a photographer, right?
I am.
I just went through your Instagram right before I walked in the door. So you like music too, so it looks like.
Yeah.
It's pretty fantastic.
Photographer for everything, but I do a lot of concerts here.
Nice.
I'm also in grad school.
Okay.
So I am busy. I'm trying to figure out how to combine the two.
Yeah.
Programs and photography, but.
What's the program?
It's transpersonal psychology.
Transpersonal psychology.
So basically, I'm training to be a self-love therapist.
Oh, okay.
Which I think all therapists should be self-love therapists, but it doesn't really work like that sometimes.
Interesting, yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how to make photography coincide with therapy.
Yeah, I like that. I just had a conversation last night. We were going pretty in depth about emotional education type things, and how in a large sense, especially in this country, it's a personal thing, and it always has been. Don't bring it up in conversation, but now with the internet, as far as a communication medium, I feel has given platform to a lot of people to be able to speak. Through TikTok, through social media in general, where it's hey, I just wanted to get on here and say, I'm having a really bad day, I just got fired, or I just quit, or, a lot of these, or my heart's broken, or whatever, all these, emotional, events in life, people are, sharing openly now,
Yeah.
And that's really never happened before.
Yeah. Not to this level.
Yeah. And I find that, very grounding. I like seeing that, especially if I'm in the middle of something myself, and then I can relate to it, and I can be okay, cool, this guy's having a bad day too, we're all in the same boat, it's very therapeutic to myself,
Yeah, gives you permission to open up to.
Yeah, definitely. And then you can also see how other people are trying to navigate it.
Yeah.
You know? And then there's a lot of people on there, like, it sounds like what you're going to try to do here, or are doing, is to try to lead people to water, in a sense, right? Like,
Absolutely.
Are there any, like, techniques, or, I mean, obviously, like, maybe meditation, or, you know, like, thoughts are the enemy of self-love a lot of times, right?
Yeah. So definitely meditation is kind of the heart of our program.
Okay, yeah.
But also, it's just like reminding our client that they know everything already. They have all the tools they need already.
Yeah.
So like they come to me, and one, I'm obviously listening to them. I obviously care about them.
Yeah.
But I try to reflect to them like that they already have this. They have all the skills they need to feel better. And like, yeah, those negative thoughts are there for a reason. We talk about what it's there for, and maybe it used to protect them earlier. Like, is it a defense mechanism or something? There's a reason. There's wisdom in them.
Yeah, there is.
Than to try to cause a separation. So like, you are not your thoughts.
Yeah. Man, and you don't know how many times I say that on every podcast. Honestly,
really?
Like, yeah. It's like, it's so easy to believe that you are, you know, and but it's a lot of it's just reactions to your experiences and your environment, and your brain's just like putting pieces together, connecting dots almost randomly sometimes. And I mean, sometimes for real purposes though too. I mean, like you're saying, like they, I think that they do have meaning, you know.
Yeah.
But it's so easy just to get sidetracked and things, and like realize that, like, I don't know. I remember I was in Carolina over the summer, and I had like I got real just emotionally just like overwhelmed, you know, and I had to like. And I felt like that was me, and I felt like it was just like, you know, just straight, just going down, you know, the spiral kind of thing, you know. And I had to remind myself that desire is suffering, and I went straight Buddhist with it, right? Like,
desire is not suffering though.
Oh, really?
But attachment is.
Okay.
Sorry, I just really wanted to say that. Like, I feel like sometimes that can get misconstrued, where desire is seen as bad.
Yeah.
But we want desire. That's what keeps you excited to be alive.
That's true, too.
But getting attached to the outcome, that's when it becomes more of a suffering.
True. Yeah.
I'm going to correct you on your podcast.
That's good clarity, though, you know.
Hey.
French onion soup?
I don't think so.
No, that's not me.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're at a restaurant called Hucklebee's.
Huckleberry. Yeah.
Huckleberry.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, doing it. It's okay. I've been here before.
Yeah, I sometimes get lost. Yeah. But yeah, my friend wrote a song called Huckleberry once.
Really?
Yeah.
Sweet.
He had a band called Chew That Frog, and it's a great band. It was a great band. The one guy, Jeffro, he's like the way they had like this little open mic jam thing for a while in Ohio there, and the Jeffro said one day, he's like, man, you got a frog in your throat, man? You better bite that frog, or you better chew that frog or something. And it turned into Chew That Frog, you know.
Nice.
And I was like, that's fantastic, you know.
I love when band names come out of stories like that.
Yeah, for sure. But Gravis wrote the Hucklebee song, just to put that out there.
Nice.
He's a fantastic artist, all around, graphic designer. Yeah, anyway.
Check them out.
Yeah. So self-love. I mean, we're all going through that really heavy. You know. It is one of my favorite topics, though. I will say.
Yeah,
you know,
me too.
like it's so hard.
Yeah, I know.
It's like a never-ending challenge in a way too, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's usually like once a day something will like either trigger something or like I don't know, and then you just kind of like have to like go through it and then come out the other side, you know.
Definitely.
Well, we have French toast.
Hey, that's me.
And
Nice.
here is Italian scrambled no
Thank you
biscuits.
so
They're both
much.
kind of
I'm
hot
sorry.
underneath.
Okay. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
of course. Do you need any hot sauce today? Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. But here's some silverware. Nice. Yeah, so we're going to be eating in this podcast right now, so, join us. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work. I've never really done this before, so I don't know. It's an experiment. We can cut around this too if it gets too so don't worry about it too much, Man, this place is fantastic though.
Yeah.
So this is self-love, right? It's
Eating what you want.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't had French toast in a really long time.
Looks really good.
I was gonna get pecan pie, and then he laid down the menu, and I was like, okay, that's probably healthier in a sense. I don't know. I'll say that it is.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. In my program, we're learning a lot about how to help other people find self-love. Or rediscover it, I should say. Not find it, but But I found that it's mostly like me relearning how to do it, which is good. I mean, you have to do it first before you can help anybody else.
So you have to go through the motions yourself. I mean, because you got to anyway. But
exactly.
Do you document a lot of what you do a lot of times, or is it like?
No, I should.
Yeah,
I really
you should for sure. Do you journal at all, or do you write in general?
I do. Last semester I took this class on dreams, and what we had to do is every day wake up and record our dreams. First thing you do, right, when you wake up, because otherwise you lose it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was so fascinating to me to, first of all, wake up and have that practice of just do this now. Don't check your phone for emails or whatever. Just get this out, what you're dreaming, because every dream can teach you something about yourself and your life. No dream is meaningless, which is a very cool framework to learn.
Yeah.
So that was kind of more when I was focusing on writing and talking about my dreams and then thinking about what this dream could mean. And I love that. I love getting to the bottom of everything and why is this and whatever.
Yeah.
So, that was when I was really journaling.
Nice.
But
yeah, that's a really good insight, though. I had a nightmare a couple nights ago, and I woke up and I couldn't get back to sleep and all that, and I should have wrote it down. I don't remember all of it. I was at a house or something, and I don't remember. But I sometimes used to write down dreams a lot. But they probably do have a lot of insight to them, and I don't give them enough credit, I guess, because I'll write down about what's really happening, what I'm really thinking about all the time,
Yeah.
But what's the other side of the coin? Right, yeah.
My class, my teacher framed it as dreams are a message from the universe or the unconscious.
Okay.
Which when you frame it like that, well, he called it a gift, actually. It is.
Yeah.
So I'm so don't ignore it, because this is a gift to you. You're just saying you don't want this if you don't write it down. And then I feel really bad if I don't write it down. But,
Yeah, that... I felt bad for not writing down dreams, or just not writing down a lot of things. But you can't document everything in the world, otherwise you'll never be living as well.
Also, who has that much paper?
Right.
Self-love is forgiving yourself too.
And then I feel bad about cutting down trees.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking that I wasn't gonna go there yet.
I'm like, man, there's just no winning in this thing.
Another practice, though, that I really like is called the artist pages, or the morning pages. And so, you know what that is?
I would guess that you would write down things you're grateful for, maybe?
I mean, you can, but basically what it is...
That's one thing I did once.
I love that. Because it creates gratitude for your whole day. But it's just, you wake up in the morning and you just write stream of consciousness, 3 pages minimum. And it has to be, it doesn't have to be, but I think personally there's a difference between typing it versus writing it with your hand. Coming pen to paper from your hand.
Definitely.
To me, that feels more connected.
There's a lot more character in your characters.
I'm not gonna lie, sometimes my handwriting gets a little illegible, but...
yeah, me too, for sure. I can still read my handwriting, but and maybe that's for the best. That keeps the journal secret,
Exactly.
It's like you're gonna really spend that much time to try to decode what I'm trying to, put down on this thing.
Get the Rosetta Stone out.
Yeah. Send some smoke signals, man. I don't know. Send help.
Yeah.
Yeah, but go ahead and eat. Yeah. I will say something.
I do this anyway. If I'm like with friends or something, I'll just have it on the fork for a while and just keep talking.
But yeah, like some morning. I'll speak for a minute here.
Okay.
Yeah. So morning routines, some morning rituals, like are really cool. Really cool practice. Yeah. Oh, there it is. I was like, what's going on? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it'll be good until it falls again. Oh. Okay, here, how about this? I'm going to turn it a little bit. Man, there's just no winning on this guy. Yeah, it's a little higher, but I feel like it has better balance.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, so morning routines, right? I came across a whole kind of like checklist kind of a thing, where partially to distract from social media probably, because like that's kind of a go-to of a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's just so easy, It's like maybe that comes from like, I don't know, like people used to wake up, get a cup of coffee and read a newspaper, It's like what's going on in the world, like in a larger scope,
Yeah. And now it's like the news feed.
Yeah. I'm like trying to think what they did before the printing press, though. You know what I mean? Like before they had like a newspaper in their hands. Like, how did people like automatically try to like figure out what's going on in their tribe or something? Like in the morning.
I honestly would guess that they probably just wrote instead of reading. I mean, I'm sure they had books too, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people were illiterate before the printing press. They couldn't write or read.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They just had to meditate.
No, well, like what I'm thinking is like, were people like running to other people in the morning and like asking what was going on? Like, I'm sure there was a lot of gossip happening.
Yeah. What happened last night?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, probably a lot of that. Go down to the cafe or to the bar, and everybody like tries to like reconvene or something like that. Because nighttime is definitely a time for people to gather, and then everybody splits apart, and then and then you miss everybody and you want to see everybody again, right? So social media kind of provides that kind of like, oh, where'd everybody go? Like, are there pictures from last night too? Or something like that. That's an interesting kind of reaction, but I don't go out a lot at night anymore.
Yeah.
But I still do it, like to see what's going on, or maybe I'm just seeing what my friends did last night. Who knows,
Yeah, are you looking for something specific, or are you just looking at what's there?
Right.
That's interesting.
That's true too.
Obviously, everybody's different, but yeah.
Yeah, and are we just looking for the dopamine hit? That's the other side of it, I think.
But the other side of that is like, if you're comparing your life, if it makes you do that, is it really a dopamine hit, or is it the opposite?
Yeah. Because if you're not enjoying seeing the things, then it's going to make you mad and send you down another path.
Yeah. If you're not like, wow, I'm so happy for them. You're like, oh, I wish I was doing that.
Yeah.
That could change everything. And then you compare your life. Comparison is suffering.
Detrimental, yeah. Is comparison attachment then? Or attachment to a way of life? Or I don't know, that's a dumb question maybe.
It's not a dumb question. I'm wondering, what is comparison? Comparison is, I think, maybe an attachment to perceived lack, maybe. Like, you think that your life is different than this person's, they have more than you don't have that, or you think you don't have that, because also whatever people post on social media is the best of the best. It might not be that.
Yeah.
It might be that 1 second and then they all went back on their phones or something, like,
Very, very true,
So
I took a picture at the coffee shop you sent me to, and I'm like, this is going to be fantastic.
And then you left right after.
Yeah, exactly. I was only there for like 5 minutes,
I've only ever driven past it. I've always wanted to go in. So thank you for telling me.
I should clarify that in the comment underneath. I was like, I was only here for 5 minutes and then I had to go. So
Yeah, could you? Full honesty.
This is not my life. This is me looking good. Hey, what's up?
That's funny. Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's definitely like jealousy in large capacity, I think. It's if you don't notice that in yourself, that can take over.
Oh yeah, I do it all the time. I have literally been trying to focus on maybe comparing myself to myself in the past, because I think that's pretty healthy.
Oh, okay.
Look how far you've come.
Yeah, well, that works if you're doing better than you're.
That's true. Sometimes I miss myself when I was 17. I'm like, wow, I was really cool back then.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but.
Yeah, well, a lot of older folks do that all the time. Yeah, really good. Thank you. I notice I talk to my grandma all the time, and she always talks about high school. And I'm like, wow, that was like in 1950. That's pretty astounding. That like what happened in between? What was going on in the 80s or what was going on in the 70s? That's what I want to know about. But she never talks about any of that era, or the 60s really, except for the Cuban Missile Crisis or something like that. She'll mention that. There's been a lot of traumatic eras.
Civil rights era.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to hear somebody that lived during that talk about it, but you're right. I've never heard anyone talk about it.
Yeah, not too much.
It's like it didn't happen.
Yeah,
but it did. It definitely did.
Yeah, it definitely. Well, I mean, it was pretty traumatic for the whole country. Like our entire politics switched. It was like a polar switch or something like that. Like the Southern Democrats all went Republican like the next year, basically.
Yeah. And then they changed the name.
Right. Yeah. they ain't called Southern Democrats anymore. That's for sure. But that's because Democrats, JFK was a Democrat and LBJ was, and they're like JFK dying was kind of a big catalyst for it.
Yeah.
And Martin Luther King Jr. was there, and LBJ pushed it through as kind of like what was it? And kind of in memory of JFK in a sense, because. John F. Kennedy really wanted that passed, but there wasn't really any way through Congress at the time.
Yeah.
But then once he died, it became kind of a, in memory of kind of a thing, Which is, that's kind of weird too. Like everyone was really prejudiced against JFK at the time because he was Catholic, They said that a Catholic would never be president or whatever, which is, I don't know. Whenever there's differences of almost any shape or size, if Hitler had won and the Aryan race would have been the only race left or people left in the whole world, they would have just been prejudiced for other reasons.
Exactly. Just gonna say that.
Yeah, it's the problem isn't the differences. It's us.
Yeah. But it's not even just that. But it's the need for power. It's the need to be better than somebody else. Mm-hmm. That we think we're better than someone else if we put someone else down. Whether they're white, blonde hair, blue eyes, but maybe that person's
I like that. That's huge.
It's true.
That's grade school stuff right there.
Should be.
Well, that's what happened in grade school.
But we don't learn why. We don't learn that happens. We just see it for what it is, and we get a bully, but we don't realize that the bully might be mistreated at home.
Seeking attention and exactly.
Because we also don't learn self-love in elementary school, at least in my elementary school.
It's like completely just drawing imaginary boundaries between people. and being like, okay, us and them. Like, who's us and who's them, you know?
Yeah.
And the bully's like, hey, like, if you're on our side, you're not on this dweeb side, you know?
Exactly.
This guy's a dork. Look at his glasses, or, you know, whatever. Like,
right.
And then, like, it's like, and then it's like, okay, well, yeah, you glasses people are dumb.
And then you can't see and you walk into a wall. Yeah.
It's pretty astounding.
Those are really cool glasses.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I like to stay in shape, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I've had other ideas about, maybe they're not true, about like how racism stems, you know, or how like groups of people decide that they're groups of people, you know, like early on in tribal settings, like there probably weren't that much differences between like the Gauls and the barbarians or wherever, you know, like the Germans and the French respectively at the time period. But like there is, I mean, they probably didn't know it at the time, you know, but like diseases travel from tribe to tribe because their tribes become completely isolated from each other. At the time period, you didn't have transportation like easily, you know, and so most people never left their home base, you know, in their entire lifetime. And so when you have immunity buildup in like areas like that, like everyone in the tribe probably has a similar immunity compared to neighboring tribes and things, you know. And so there's probably a lot of stories of like witchcraft and like if this tribe like infected this other tribe with witchcraft or with magic or whatever, right? Like I could see that completely happening too, you know. And so then it becomes kind of ingrained to like kind of keep with your own people, you know?
Well, yes, I agree. But I think human nature is to be communal and to care for other people.
Yeah.
As your tribe. But the problem is when we start to see our tribe as too small. And you don't belong to this, and you don't belong to this, for whatever reason. Even if it's just your family or your whole community, and then you don't let this other person out that might need exactly what you have, just community.
Yeah.
Resources, and, you know, so why did we start seeing people as not included in that tribe? That's what started all of this.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And so I wrote my thesis on this. It was 70 pages. So I'm like, okay.
So you might have one or two things to say here. Sweet. I have one thing to say too.
I did some research just kind of on how it started in tribal communities. And like, I don't know the full details right now about what tribe it was, but basically like they were working together, super communal, they're hunters-gatherers, like basically the guys would go off and bring enough for everybody. Yeah. But then one guy, or maybe a few guys, started to get like greedy and kind of hide the food into their own cave or something, and so then the oldest people and the sickest people started dying, which had never happened before. Yeah. So they realized there was this no, it wasn't equal anymore. Yeah. It was, people started getting greedy, and a lot of it, honestly, was also started by colonizers, who I can't say where that came from, but the Native American people would call it Wetica, which means cannibalism. And it wasn't necessarily like eating a person. It was eating the life of another person. So you don't care about them because now this is your food and you deserve it more than them. And we're going to now use it. And that's how slavery started and everything, because they don't care about that person. They're just using them. Oh, okay. You
stop like respecting the person.
You stop humanizing them. You dehumanize them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
we do that. Oh man, I had this great conversation last night about like how we dehumanize like who we perceive as very evil people or whatever. Like if there's like a mass murder or like rulers who try to take over the world kind of thing, and we're like, well, they're monsters, you know? They're sociopaths. We call them a lot of names, but we don't call them human, and we don't try to figure out what went wrong. We don't try to figure out what went wrong in society because we don't want to take responsibility, you know? Like, partially it's on us, but we just say, we completely deny that side of us. and say, hey, well, there were monsters, you can't. And it's like, well, what's a monster? They were still human, you know? And that's the other side of it, I think, too, you know? And then talking about the tribe, like as far as who's in the tribe, who's not in the tribe kind of idea. Like think about like Carl Sagan, you know, like he was a big part of like I think it was the Voyager project where they set it out to like Pluto, like the first like satellite that was sent out that far. And then on the way back, he was really the big proponent of taking a picture of Earth from that distance, you know. And everyone's like, well, why would you even need to do that, you know? Like, and then it really came down to the wire. They had like a window of like a day when it was coming around Neptune, and they had like one like, and like they changed the director of NASA the same day or something like that, you know? And so that guy's just like, okay, I'm giving you green light, this is my last day, do it, you know? Like, and they were like, cool. They sent the instructions, the radio communication out, took the picture, and that's what he named his book, The Pale Blue Dot, after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, I didn't know that story.
Yeah. I don't know, I just missed Carl Sagan so bad. And it was like the day before his birthday or two. I didn't know that, but like I was looking up like audiobooks of Pale Blue Dot, and I started like listening to it while I was walking around and stuff. And that was in that book. And I was like, man, and he does his own audiobooks too, which, I mean, of course he does, you know? 'Cause the billions and the billions. He has such a great soothing voice too. He's talking about all that stuff. Yeah, I love that guy.
Shout out Carl Sagan.
Yeah. Happy birthday, man. Yeah. But yeah, that. So I'm only saying that to talk about the idea that we live in a very small dust or pebble in the universe, you know, and to put up any boundaries on that pebble seems ludicrous, you know, like. From an objective point of view, from a far lens angle, it's so much easier to see that, you know? Speaking of photography, right?
Yeah, I'm also 5'1" and 3/4, so...
What's that? I'm
5'1" and 3/4 too, so I'm like happy, not happy, I'm very aware that I'm very small potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
I've like joked that I'm going to call my business The View from the Bottom Photography, because I'm always just like, yeah.
Try to get that down shot to add like, you're like always dramatic. Like.
But photography is actually a really good metaphor because of all the different lenses where I can be completely zoomed out and see everything.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely. Yeah.
Or super zoomed in, like see up someone's nose or something. I don't know. But that's kind of how we choose to view the world too. It's just how zoomed in we are versus zoomed out.
It really is. Yeah. I think I learned those terms best from like objective and subjective, I guess. When I was like real young, when I first went to college and was reading, I picked up a C.G. Jung book from the library called Undiscover Yourself, and I've read it a couple times since then too. But at the time, the reading level was like above where I was like, what is happening in this book right now? You know,
I've never seen. Small print too.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. You know, now to read it, you know, I'm just like, okay, this is like all the books that I read. You know, but at the time, it was definitely like I was going into territory unknown. You know. But yeah, he I don't know exactly how he went into depth about objective, subjective. I just know that's where I learned it from. But I mean, he starts that book. It's just such a heavy examination of humanity at the time period, where he's just going in talking about right off the bat nuclear weapons. You know, like what's going on here. You know, like, and it's like I don't know. Everybody used to have more opinion about that subject, and now we just try to forget about it, you know,
literally.
In a large sense.
It's not gone, but we don't talk about it.
No, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually kind of comes back to the tribe thing of where I think the underlying problem is power and just survival and realizing that we're so small and we're on that small dot and that we don't actually matter more than anybody else and more than any other planet.
Yeah.
But you hear that, you learn that, and then, oh, this is a big conversation. I'm like, not going to bring religion into this, but it's like, what do you do with that information? You can either feel empowered by that or feel really, really small, feel no sense of security, and then have to put other people down and get the biggest nuclear weapons and everything. So it's all related, I think.
It definitely is, you know. That's what that book Ishmael's about, actually.
Okay.
Very much. Well, and actually that Carl Sagan, Pale Blue Dot, talks a lot about like the egocentric universe. Where we thought we were the center of the universe forever, and then now we had like we're butthurt. Our ego is bruised, you know. Like it's super weird. And then they mention how. And now we have to believe that we evolved from these like slime creatures and shit. It's like people are also, and they're just like, man, this is hard to take, you know? Like, like I thought we were made special, you know? The whole reason the universe is here was because we're here, you know? Like, it was to make us, you know? And that's kind of like the story of our culture in a large way, you know?
Yeah, and I don't think that we can't be special. I think we are special.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But everybody else is too. And that's the problem.
I want to be the only one.
Yeah.
It's obviously, it was made for me.
Yeah. That's also why comparison is such a big thing, I think.
What is it?
Comparison. For
Exactly.
If I compare my photos to someone else's and like, oh my god, I suck at this. And then I look at their, and then I look at mine again and I'm like, alright, these aren't that bad. Why does it matter? Why can't we both be like good at what we do?
yeah, that's true. Art is so weird like that too, especially when you're that close to your own art.
Yeah.
You're just so critical of things. I have to like physically like stop myself sometimes, you know. I recorded that album last month and like there was like I had to like back away for a couple of days just to like, and then I came back and I'm like, wow, this is really good. But 2 days ago I thought all of this was trash, you know. Okay. Like, what's real?
I do that too with albums. I'll be working and I'll look at someone's face and it's the same colors over and over, and then I'm like, I need to go to a different album. I need to go walk. And then I'll come back and I'll be like, no, I need to do a different album. And so then I'm working on like 5 different albums at a time. And people are like, that is so not efficient. I know. But I have to do it this way, otherwise I like, you're too close to it. You just keep seeing the same thing, and I'm pretty critical too. So
Yeah. We all are. Yeah.
But that's interesting, like what I was talking about earlier, and what we were talking about earlier with the negative self-talk and thoughts.
Yeah.
You might have this thought and be like, wow, I suck at this, blah, blah, blah. And then you might be like, wow, I'm so mean to myself. But you can do another thought after that and be like, it's all okay. Like, and that, you get to choose what you want with whatever comes to you. You can't control what comes to you, but you can choose how you respond.
So, in that mode, right, like, we have been here for a long time, isolated, to the point where we have started saying we about ourselves.
I do that, yep. We do that.
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. Like, that's another Carl Jung thing, right? Like, the self that is, like, objectively watching the self, like, be a fool, you know, so to speak.
High self, I think.
Yeah. That's always, I mean, are we all technically the same consciousness, you know? And then just watching the whole thing with, like, some of the greatest, like, lenses in the world, like from every single perspective all at the same time, or?
Honestly, I personally think we are the same consciousness, but I don't think we all want to believe that for things we've already talked about before.
Yeah.
But if we all did, it doesn't matter what religion you believe in, what spirituality, what no religion.
Yeah.
It's all the same message. Every religion at the heart of it is the same message.
Yeah.
And I think that is our truth. But we have so many distractions. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have different words for things, and then those words become kind of hot button for some people, and like
Trigger.
really emotionally, loaded. Yeah, someone's calling. Yeah, and we do this with politics, we do it with religion, especially, because really no one knows, and like we make all the words that are associated with those subjects like very, very emotionally loaded, and we like demonize them. Any idea that we don't want to have happen, we're like, well, those are devils. Those are magical beings that want to kill you.
Yeah, that just made me think of like cancel culture too.
Oh yeah. It's just a new iteration,
But it's okay. So now people are being called out for things that were never called out before.
That's true.
And that's great, and that's so powerful.
Definitely, yeah.
But can we also learn to forgive and see the whole person as more than just that?
Yeah.
And it's so hard because sometimes they can't take accountability for it, and they move on and they gaslight, and it's like, I think cancel culture is so powerful, not just on also our impression of other people. What you say about other people is so important. Like bad publicity, bad Yelp review, it's all kind of related to cancel culture. Wow, this is a bigger topic than I meant for it to be.
Yeah, because we all have a voice for the first time, really,
Yeah, and people can be held accountable for things that they used to get away with.
Yeah.
And now they,
Like, we invented a representational democracy because I can't talk to somebody in D.C. Over, like, unless I send a letter over a day's journey or 2 or 3 days journey by horseback. That's why we did it, Now, I mean, I can invent like a blockchain voting system, and we could all be in charge of everything at all times, and we don't need to have these like these representatives who are easily corruptible and can just be like told what to say by people with money, basically.
Exactly.
And so why aren't we doing that? Because the whole thing's still tied up in that system, I don't know what we were talking about, but
cancel culture.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Good call.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and now we all. It is. I mean, that was like the dream of the internet when it first started. It's going to democratize everything.
Yeah. And also, not everyone had access to it then.
That's true too. Yeah.
I mean, a lot more people have access to it now than ever. But
Yeah. And our whole perception of it changed. When the internet came out, no one knew what the hell it was.
Yeah.
It's like, it came on a CD-ROM in the mail.
Yeah.
It said 10 free hours of internet. I'm like, okay, well, maybe.
Like
I don't know what that
AOL
means.
on a CD.
Yeah, exactly. And now, if you're growing up now, you think that the internet's Facebook or TikTok or, and it's like it's moved. The entire perception of it's moved, to where it's like not just like, well, anyone can have a platform. It's like the platform has been kind of co-opted in a large sense.
Yeah.
Because like 90-something% of all the traffic goes through those websites, And it's like, well, yeah.
And then you meet someone that doesn't have a Facebook, and you're like, wow, you're so mysterious.
Right.
So cool. I could never do that.
Yeah, and then also like, why can't I message this person? This sucks.
Oh, they're so cool. They're too cool for me. I'm okay. Thank you.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's kind of true though.
Yeah.
Or like my friend will be like, I met this guy, but he doesn't have a Facebook, so we can't stalk him. And it's like, okay, but even if you do stalk him, it's only what they want you to see.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Unless they're just really like open in ways that they shouldn't be.
That's true. I do think that, I don't know, it's really interesting because I have a setting on my Facebook where I have to approve pictures I'm tagging because of experience of people tagging me in the stupidest things from like 8th grade. Literally.
No.
And I'm like,
yeah.
Why would you put that on my page now?
Right, yeah. Now everyone's gonna like, that's like the first picture that pops up of you, Yeah, it is kind of weird that they even do that. Like, why aren't those pictures the ones that I took, you know?
Now
decided, oh, nice, yeah.
You can remove the tag or something.
Okay.
But the thing is that I know that is because, like, I don't want that to be part of my image.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's not who you are now. People change, and, like, you want to, like, yeah, I mean, if you work for NBC and you are in charge of a show, you know, like, I'm not going to put a bunch of, like, extra things in the beginning of the show that doesn't have anything to do with the show that I'm trying to present, you know? And we're all basically production companies in that respect now, you know? Like, what is the show of me involved, you know? Like, it's super weird.
It is.
In the MySpace days, it was maybe a little bit better.
Oh, no. Not mine.
I just liked it because, like, I could just post, like, my songs on the player, you know? And I always thought that was cool. And then I would, like, find all kinds of really cool bands that, like, just existed out there. And I would just, like, jump from band to band. And, like, or if, like, and no one had the real name and, like, no one, like, had a picture of themselves, really. Like, if anyone had, like, a galaxy picture as their profile pic, I'd go, like, see what they're doing, you know? Like, yeah, okay, here we go.
You can have 8 top friends, too.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Then you get mad at one of them, you're not my top friends anymore. I loved MySpace, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Change the background to be whatever you wanted it to be,
yeah,
too.
right, for sure. Like, that's where everyone learned HTML for the first time.
Yeah, like, pro. And
Yeah.
now I have no idea what I'm doing. Actually, Tumblr, same thing. I learned it on Tumblr, too.
Oh, I haven't explored that so much, but...
I don't use it anymore, but when I did, I use it more than Facebook. I use it more than anything, because it's kind of like a Reddit. You can find whatever you want.
Oh, right on, okay.
But I noticed that I used it the most when I had homework to do, so I had to stop using it. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I joined there's another, like, knockoff MySpace that exists now that I joined. I forget what it's called. It's like Space My or something weird. It almost sounds the same thing, but not.
Yeah. Space My.
Right, yeah. It's something like that. I don't know what it is, but, like, I was only on it like 3 times, but I did change the background, you know, and, like, just for old time's sake. I don't know, it's nostalgic or something. And I had, like, 1 or 2 friends who were on it that, like, pointed me in that direction. So, like, I'm friends with them, but that was like a year ago, so who knows?
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I would spend hours looking for the perfect background. Like, what do I like that also I feel like reflects who I am?
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. And it is, I don't know, it's really cool. It's like wearing clothes, you know, in like a virtual sense.
I was going to say that actually, that's now when I spend that much time thinking I'm looking for like the right outfit, that does also portray me.
Yeah, definitely.
I wasn't going to bring clothes into it, but you did.
Yeah, now we're all talking about virtual reality spaces and stuff, and like they're gonna like I don't know. I don't play a lot of video games, but I did as a kid. But like they have like all the 3 like I don't know, in Fortnite you get like there's like you have to pay money for like virtual clothes or something or another, and like different skins and things. I don't know. Like I remember like in my day, back in my day, you had to run a snowboard run in 2 seconds, and like you unlocked the panda guy or something, you know. But like didn't have to pay money for him.
Now you can still unlock it, but you have to, if you want to skip that part, you pay. Yeah.
Which is kind of genius, but also like it kind of takes away from like the badge of honor that you're like I got Iceman, I got Panda Man, like what do you got, man? You know, like
yeah.
I didn't mean for it to come out that way.
No, I didn't take it that way.
I don't even know what that means. Fantastic. All right. We got this. This is a podcast. Oh, man. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm glad you decided to jump out here with me.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and like we've been talking about Earth, and it's in your earrings, and like...
Oh, I forgot to take this one off. I switched earrings last minute.
Oh, right on.
All right, they're both in there.
I thought it was like, it's like those are different ear. I thought it was like a galaxy or like a solar system, you know?
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Like I thought that was like actually a moon. That didn't look like directly at it before, but like.
No, this is it.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
took
Yeah.
This one out. I guess I just was like, I'm late. Let's go. That's so funny. I've never done that before.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. I mean, there's only one Earth. It'd be weird if there's two of them, you know? Like.
I do have two.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I have a pair of suns, and so I was like, I'm just gonna wear the sun and the earth.
Yeah.
One
Right.
day.
Yeah. For sure. Get like a suntan coming over this way.
These are actually guitar strings.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know about some guitar strings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I told you. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. That's cool. I like guitar. I got to play guitar twice on this podcast on this travel so far. The one time I almost woke up everyone in the house. But this is like one of the first travels that I haven't brought my guitar with me, you know? Usually I travel and like always I had a banjo one time, I brought a guitar another time.
Yeah.
Mostly guitar, but I played banjo at a wedding in LA once. Like
That's cool.
yeah, it was really fun. It was like in a big airport hangar, plane hangar. I don't know what you call it, but yeah, yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was like, and I think I hung out in San Diego for like a week after that, just kind of like living in a hostel and like playing music on the beach kind of thing, you know?
Nice. Oh, that sounds like the dream.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It had, you know, best of times, worst of times, you know?
Yeah. I made a banjo once.
Oh, you made one?
I still have it. It's actually pretty cool.
Is it like a cigar box banjo or like?
It's a full size,
Oh.
very heavy.
Wow.
I had to like.
With like the back on the drum and stuff too, right? Okay.
I'll send a picture when I get home.
Nice.
I was gonna say, yeah, if we met at my house, I have like a random array of instruments.
Nice, right?
For no reason, it's not like I know how to play most of them, but
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's important, you know? You never know.
Yeah, you never know what musician use it at my house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, I mean, you're in contact with a lot of musicians a lot of times.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah. It is.
I find being a musician is like one of the funnest things in the world. Like you meet the weirdest and coolest people ever, you know?
Yeah.
Like on a pretty often regular basis, you know?
Yeah.
Man, and then you meet somebody who takes on an entire other personality. And they like become this like entity almost, you know? I've met a few of those people.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't even exist as a normal human anymore, you know, like normal rules don't apply or something.
Yeah, I've met a few of those.
Yeah.
It is interesting. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
I feel like I go the opposite direction, so when I see that, I'm just like, that's so
like,
fascinating.
yeah, it really is. It's like they've been on the road so long that like they don't have any more roots left, you know, to like one spot. So they just know wherever they go, you know, it's going to be a new person. They're never going to see this person again, most likely. And so be whoever it is that you want to be at that time. And then it just probably becomes like addictive, you know?
Yeah.
It's probably a lot of fun and people love it, you know? Yeah. I never really thought about it that way.
Yeah, it's like being an actor.
Yeah, like like your life becomes like a movie at that point, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and you need to hire people with cameras just to follow you around.
I'm available. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I ground myself. I'm in Ohio a lot, you know. That's kind of where I live, and like so. I don't know. I don't necessarily always want to be there, but it is kind of nice having a home base and being grounded in ways, you know. I don't know. I've never really like been on the road nonstop all the time like that either, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you lived in a lot of different places, or just the two, or?
Yeah, I've lived in a few different places. Not like a lot. I lived in Boone, North Carolina. Yeah.
Cool.
I loved it there. I love the mountains. I really am drawn to the mountains, even though I don't like cold at all. When I woke up and it was snowing, I was like...
Sounds like you like Hawaii.
Yeah. Actually, I've never been to Hawaii, but I really want to go. And I've been to a lot of really cool places. Like I went to Easter Island, and I went to Rwanda and Uganda. And yeah, I've been like really great places.
World traveling a little bit.
A little bit, not enough.
Yeah, me too.
That's why I had to wear the earth.
Yeah, I've never been out of the States except for Canada, but I've been to all over the United States, so a couple times.
And I feel like having a home base kind of makes you appreciate other places. Yeah. Because you have something to come home to. Like, and also makes you appreciate home too. Like, that's why you chose it. Yeah,
I do miss home when I'm away for too long, you know? Like, it becomes like a thing. Yeah. And it really depends on the trip too, you know? If you're having too much fun, you don't want to go back home.
That's true. And then you miss it when you're home.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm not really good at, like, thinking I might never come back to this place before. I always want to come back to wherever I am.
Yeah.
So, and Easter Island was very hard to get to. I might not ever go there again, but I would love to.
Sounds like a lot of fun. I've always wanted to see those giant heads on that island, you know, like, it just seems weird. And the Easter Bunny's there, right? Is that...
I don't know. Can't confirm. Didn't see him.
Can neither confirm nor deny.
It was really cool when I was there, though. I learned a lot. Like, every statue that's standing was what's the word?
Erected?
I mean,
Right,
Like, it was fixed, and then they put it up. So, all of them were down before. And so it's like, basically they do it for tourism. Which, like, I'm happy to help because it was awesome.
Definitely,
But it does kind of lose a little bit of, okay, this isn't like 100% authentic. This isn't how it was.
Yeah, and it never is going to be, you know?
But they're actually a good example of, like, tribal community that they started building, like, those statues. Who can build it bigger? What does that mean? My statue is bigger than yours, and so they started using all their resources.
Oh, damn. I didn't realize that.
I didn't know either until I went there. That's what I meant. Like, I learned it. It was still amazing to be there, and then you kind of learn the little bit of the dark side and like a little history. Yeah.
You learn that humans have always been the same.
I don't know. I definitely have a very romanticized view of like tribal communities and humanity in general. I do think there was a rift. Something happened.
Well, and at least you like see that in yourself too. You know, that's kind of important.
I mean, I don't really want to be different than that. You know, I don't want to be like humanity is just sucks and this is all human nature. It's just kind of how it is, and there's nothing we can do about it. Well, I do believe that at our highest self, we are all communal. We care about everybody else and ourselves. I think that lack of self-love is also what causes every other problem. You can't love other people if you can't love yourself in a real way.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about relationships and stuff. It's just like you see this person in the street and you don't care because you don't care about yourself.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is hard. Like eye contact and things like that with strangers and like and it's like almost like saying like it's like I don't want to get involved or something, you know. It's like, well, if you're here, you are involved, you know.
That was part of what I wrote my thesis on. Because I used to work at a grocery store and I was a cashier, and I would notice like how people would treat me. And people wouldn't look at me, or they'd be on the phone in line with me, or whatever, or I'd be smiling at them, and they would literally say to me, "Why are you so happy? You're so naive." I was like, dude, I'm 17. Like, actually, I worked there for 4 years, but
the way of the world hasn't crushed you hard enough yet.
That's kind of what they wanted. That's what they were saying. And it was fascinating to me. You know, I'm just like, well, you haven't done anything to me, so I'm going to be nice to you. Like, why are you questioning it? And so, but like one person got so angry at me she obviously was not angry at me, but she like was just so stressed out in her day, and then she like literally burst a blood vessel in her eye while yelling at me, and I was like, did I even do? I didn't do anything. And I actually had to leave that day because I started crying.
Oh, man.
But my point is just that, like, the way people help someone that they don't know, that they see every day, and that, like, I'm helping them. I'm just there for their service and a bag. Pretty good bagger. But also, how would they treat the people next to them? Like, they would be next to these people and they wouldn't look at them. They wouldn't say anything. They use the little bar to separate their groceries and separate themselves. So that's kind of what I started to notice. And this grocery store was, like, in DC, so it was all types of people, like all different cultures.
Yeah,
and
it's a pretty wild city.
You would see, well, I was like a suburb in Maryland, but still close enough, 10 minutes away. But, you know, I would see, like, the really, really rich people get their groceries, and then I would see the people that work on their houses get their groceries right after them, and it was just fascinating to me because it felt like kind of a little piece of the whole world. And then, you know, I'd be on a plane, or even still we're on a plane, and we don't talk to the person next to us for hours. Sometimes I do, and then at the end I'll ask their name, and it's like we never even got there, which I think is also interesting. Yeah,
definitely.
But what, for me, if I'm walking down the street and I don't look at someone, it's not because I don't care about them, it's because I want to hide. I'm like, don't look at me, I'm awkward, I know I have rainbow hair, but, like, don't look at me. And that's my reasoning. Whereas other people I know, it's like they don't care.
I mean, that's... Yeah, I guess there are multiple reasons why people do whatever, you know, and it's hard to judge where somebody's at, really, too. You don't know what's going on in their day.
Right.
I mean, people get mad at each other all the time, and it's usually, like, one person is, like, hurting really bad, and just is, like, driving a little too slow or something like that. And it's, like, creates, like, this crazy ripple through people who are just in a hurry or just, like, late or something, and, like, we're all in different places, but we're all in the same place, getting each other's way.
Exactly. And then that's a whole other thing. When I have road rage because I'm running late to something or whatever, I'm like, well, this was my fault for not leaving earlier. I'm not actually mad at the other person. I'm mad at myself.
Exactly.
This wouldn't have happened. I would be smooth sailing if I had a lot of time.
You're gonna drive 25? You're gonna drive 22 miles an hour?
I mean, sometimes I can be pretty good. I actually get more mad if someone's speeding and, like, goes around me, and I'm like, because you really have somewhere to be.
Right,
But I realize even that comes from fear of just, like, you almost hit me. And that brings anger. Like,
well, and I think that's where a lot of road rage comes from, too, is the fact that every time you get in a car, you're in a life-threatening situation.
Exactly.
And that automatically heightens everything, you know? Yeah, it's pretty wild. We're in a group of humans that really, like, there's only going to be like 100 years worth of time where humans have even driven cars. And then after that, they'll all be automated. But, like, it's like...
so scary.
Like, I hope we live to a point where, like, we can talk to, like, kids and things, and they'll be like, you drove cars and shit? It's like, for, like, 50 years.
You had to drive your own. Maybe we'll have spaceships.
That's like, maybe. But
actually, I remember being in elementary school and seeing, I forget what it was called. It wasn't Scholastic. You know, those, like, little kids magazines, and we had to write, like, book reports on them or whatever. But it was like 3 pages of news. Anyways, I remember seeing hybrid cars. And it was like, this will be around 2010. And like, 2010, that's so far away. Hybrid car, that's so cool. And now I have a hybrid car, so it's like full circle. Like, that actually happened.
That's exactly where so, like, in the, I have one of those too, and they had, like, the solar cars on them. Like, from, like, they had, like, those Tour de Sol races and things, and my dad was always really into, like, electric cars and solar type stuff, and so I knew what it was, so I was, like, excited, you know, like, I was like, oh man, they're on the cover of the kids thing, like, this is really gonna happen. And that was, like, in the 90s.
Same.
It's like, okay, we still don't have solar cars, so, but it is, I mean, I understand the technical difficulties of trying to, like, make a solar panel be crazy efficient and to produce that much electricity all in, like, a smaller space like that. It's so hard.
And now the dark side of the hybrid cars too is where do they get the
Oh,
That's not the word.
the lithium and like the cobalt, whatever they made all the batteries out of.
Cobalt, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what our phones are made out of too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Is it cobalt? It's not cobalt.
Rare
It's
earth.
like coltan or
There's
something.
several different rare earth metals that are the rare ones that are really like. Yeah, I mean, like we take a lot of things for granted in this country. Like
We
we
just
don't
don't
even.
know.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just started like I've been buying fair trade chocolate because my friends own a health food store, Yeah, and then I find out that about the whole like child labor thing and like that whole outcry at like at a Kit Kat bar, at a Reese's, all of these different things
Any
that
kind of mainstream chocolate, yeah.
yeah, like every single one of them. And because they made that like a group, I forget exactly what they call that group, but it was like they made an agreement between all the chocolate companies in America to say, hey, we're going to control the price of this, So then it trickled down, and then even to make any money at the lowest level as a farmer, you had to produce it as cheaply as you could. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
broke my heart was the Wonka bar. I don't eat them often. I was like, no. Or Carmelo, one of those. Yeah, yeah, those things are good.
Yeah.
But no more.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, sometimes I feel like Halloween candy tastes like plastic.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're
for sure.
still, like, you're in it for the nostalgia, right? It's like,
Yeah.
that was
well,
so good when I was younger. I
Yeah,
wanted
it
a Kit
probably
Kat.
was.
And now I'm like, if I eat a Kit Kat, I'm like, that's not even that good. That's not worth it.
No.
But yeah, it's like I actually wrote an article once about Halloween candy and actually Valentine's Day candy too, and roses, because I was working for a company where I had to do their newsletter. So I was like, here, everybody, consumers, don't buy this shop if you care. Like, just know about this, then make a decision from there. But
Yeah.
yes, this like candy is cheaper, but this is why.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
this is what you're supporting, and these
Exactly.
roses are what you're supporting. If you get it from like 1-800-Flowers or anything mainstream,
Wow.
honestly, unless it says like no slave labor, basically, it is
Wow.
slave labor
Yeah.
across the board. That's with clothes,
Yeah.
food, like
Even like Apple computers, I heard for a minute, like probably other computer components as well.
it's like at least what I know, that one mineral that's found in the Congo. I think it's called coltan.
Okay.
I don't know, but
I
it's in
don't
our
know.
phones. It's in
Yeah, it's in everything that needs like, I don't know, chip like processing kind of power and all that.
Yeah, there is one phone that you can't even get in this country. That
Wow.
is the only phone that is not produced by slave trade
Wow.
ingredients.
Yeah.
Ingredients is not the word I'm thinking of.
Manufacturing materials. Yeah,
That
yeah,
works.
exactly.
Yeah.
Just a dash.
Yeah. I can't even remember what it's called, and it's like, I tried to get it once. You have to get it in Europe. They don't even like transfer to this service, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And then, I don't know how far we want to go down this rabbit hole, but like the whole like prison system in America and all the labor that's used kind of in that realm, that is so ridiculous.
This is a new form of slavery.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've done a lot of research on that, but I also studied immigration, and so now what they do with Homeland Security is the same thing. They just add immigrants to the mix. So it's like mostly African American people and immigrants that are making so
Yeah.
much money, and they make
Yeah.
more money by filling their beds. They have
Yeah.
to pay money if they don't fill their beds, so they always have them filled.
Wow.
Yeah, we could go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that, and like they were like paying judges to send them work from people.
Yeah.
That's so sick. It's like the entire society is just like sick,
Yeah,
It's like,
it is. That's Wetico. That's the cannibalism. Like,
oh, okay, yeah. It's like how do you find your way out of this cycle?
you have to care.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, I mean awareness and just vigilance, with it, sticking with it, researching it, and like finding the ways out.
And sometimes you can't do anything. Like, we need a phone. So that, for that example, like, we're not going to get that one phone that isn't slave trade. So what do? Like, do you offset it?
Yeah, can I even buy a map of Colorado on, like, a piece of paper, you know what I mean?
Probably. I think it's actually probably free.
Okay. But then how would I even find the address of where I'm going? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and then how would I find it? Like, I could approximate on the map. I used to be pretty good with maps. Like, I kind of denied the whole GPS, thing for a long time.
Yeah.
But I still had like a computer, like a laptop in my car that I would like stop at like McDonald's and steal their Wi-Fi, and then kind of like look at the map, like kind of make mental notes, and then I'd drive there. I did that for a long time until I just finally broke down, and I was like, well, I'm probably going to need to know how to do this just to keep up with society,
Yeah, I don't even know if MapQuest is a thing anymore.
Right, yeah.
But even that, you would still have to use a computer, so.
Yeah, exactly.
And those maps you can get don't say you are here.
No, yeah, they don't have, like, all right, first I got to figure out where I am.
Exactly.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah. So we just kind of have to accept that there's things that we unfortunately benefit from at the risk or at the sake of other people.
Yeah.
And we have to figure out what we want to do with that. Like, learn about it. Choose. I mostly get my clothes like thrifted, just because even if it's made with slave labor, it's not directly affecting that or contributing to that.
Right.
But it's not even just that. It's like, okay, I have a lot of clothes. And
I have a few.
That's supply and demand, right? If I was to buy, I don't buy them all the time, I just have a lot. But like, if I did, it's directly contributing to people in India that aren't making like $1 a day to spend 22 hours a day making their clothes.
Yeah.
The more that we can't be satisfied with what we have, the more we fuel all of those.
Yeah. Agreed. Man, it's just like a conundrum, I even feel bad saying things like this out loud,
I know.
It's like I know it's so easy just to like keep your head in the sand about all this stuff all the time. And like, and everybody else just walking around like everything's normal. And so it looks normal on the surface. So you can like so easily just fool yourself. Like, man.
I know, and I say it all with a smile just because I smile a lot, but then I feel bad. I'm like, this is not something to smile at. I'm really fun at parties, I'll tell you what.
I laugh a lot too.
Yeah.
At wrong times. Like,
it's like, in a way, it is almost, it's not funny, but like.
Well, it's almost like self-preservation in a way, like trying to keep ourselves like stable. Like,
true. It's true.
I do it. I laugh a lot when I'm nervous sometimes, but
Yeah, me too. I think that's mostly where it comes from, honestly.
yeah.
It's not like I'm like, ha ha ha, this is so funny. But honestly, this kind of stuff, like, this is my passion to talk about this.
Yeah.
And that's why I said I'm not that fun at parties, because it'll always come up too.
Right. Yeah. That's why I do this podcast, honestly, because like I've said that exact same thing before, where it's like, well, I want to have these conversations, and then we start having conversations, but we're at a party, or we're at a bar, or we're somewhere, and it doesn't make any sense, and then they're gone, or whatever. And it's like when you can just like turn on a cassette tape recorder, it changes the whole dynamics too, puts you kind of more in the moment, and then like it's like, okay, what are we like kind of weaving here, and like it doesn't let us stop. So it's just like we're on this like path, and just like we're just nailing down tangents, nailing down like whatever's on that path,
Yeah, this is definitely like an everyday conversation.
Nice. Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, this is mostly what's on the show, honestly.
Cool.
Yeah. Some of this stuff was definitely parallel to what I was saying last night. Yeah, thanks.
All right, awesome, yeah.
Can I grab a box?
A
Would
box?
you guys chance, please?
Absolutely,
Thank you.
My last blueberry.
Yeah.
Almost nabbed it.
You did. You should take it away too.
Yeah, I was like, hold on. I need this.
Yeah. I think gross is the one, right? That
Who is it?
Rose that introduced us.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I used to work with her at Amnesty International, that's how I know her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, she's super cool.
Yeah.
I really didn't know who she was before about a year ago. Like, maybe I met her when she was real little, you know? But then, like, she stopped out to see my grandma. Her and, I think it was her mom. And, like, they were talking, so I got to talk to Rose for a little while. And I was like, wow, she's, like, right on the ball. Like, right with me on all this stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's why we worked there. I only met her a few times, too, but it was, like, instantly go into these conversations.
Yeah, nice.
Very
nice.
cool person, yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's why we stood in contact too, you know? Because I was like, okay, you're like...
She actually bought some masks for me too, I think.
Oh, right on.
I make masks with my photos on them.
Oh, wow.
So I have some, I think she got Easter Island once. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, so you like take your photographs and like put them on the cloth kind of thing?
I have someone do it for me because I don't know anything about that life, but yes.
Right, yeah. I don't know, sublimation techniques. I don't know. Like, I screen print shirts a little bit, but nothing like that complicated. Like, not photorealistic stuff.
He has a printing machine. That's literally all I know is a machine.
Yeah. So it's robots do it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Like, that's one good thing about robots, I'm hoping, right? Like, can't we just have people not be slaves and just make robots do this?
I think about that too. I mean, yeah, definitely no slaves. There's literally no argument to have slaves. Though I do wonder if the robots ever turn, because that is a thing that does actually happen. That's not just for movies.
Right, yeah.
But whatever.
It's
still.
Yeah, and that depends on how we build them. To what capacity of like
Thank you so
artificial
much.
intelligence.
Is there anything else I can get for you guys today?
I don't think so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, you know what we could do is just pay people what they deserve.
Wait a minute. Back the truck up.
I've not heard that one before.
Oh, man. Yeah, like, imagine that, huh? We're gonna pay somebody to do a job? That sounds ludicrous.
Yeah.
It's a little bit far-fetched, don't you think?
I mean, especially now, right? When so many people are, like, quitting.
Yeah.
Because they're not making money.
Yeah, exactly.
Their worth. It's so cool.
Where's this for you guys?
Thank you.
Sweet.
Yeah. I got this. Nice wallet.
Oh, thanks, yeah. It's actually LA, I think.
Really?
I just thought it was cool because it's like topographical, right?
Yeah, that is so cool. I try, when I spend my hours trying to find cool clothes, I literally look for earth patterns. I have earth leggings and then earth hoodies. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I need a dress.
Well, the concept of Earth is solid, but in execution, it kind of lacks.
Exactly. It's part of my romanticizing.
Yeah, exactly.
Earth
Do you
is
know?
amazing.
Do you know that word? I think it's quixotic, or it's from Don Quixote, and it's like quixotic. Yes. Yeah.
I'm just seeing his name. Like,
Yeah, I know. That's the only way I can do it too. Like, I have to say Don Quixote to even like get there, and I still fail.
I don't know if I didn't fail, but
No, I think you nailed it. Yeah, that sounded right. Yeah, the romantic word or whatever kind of like notion of yeah, I don't know. And we do that all the time with just like looking back in history at just like golden eras and things. You know, like everybody's had their own huge hurdles to try to clear. You know.
yeah.
It's we're just in a bigger boat.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so true.
it's so hard to clear a hurdle in a boat, you know?
I had this. Okay, so it's kind of conflicting things right here, but like,
Okay.
first of all, I have a problem when I hear people be like, well, my situation isn't that bad, or what's happened to me isn't that bad because this person had it worse.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
then I'm like, okay, but you're totally, like, you had pain, you had some hardship happen to you, you are allowed to have those feelings.
Yeah.
And don't gaslight yourself by comparing it to someone else who might have had it worse.
Yeah, definitely.
But at the same time, like, when I first went to Uganda, we had to walk 2 miles each way to get water. Like,
oh, wow.
fill up, what is it called? Basically a gallon, a huge gallon thing.
Yeah.
A jibby thing.
Right,
water, bring it back. And I was with these little kids that walked us there. No way I would know where I was going. And they held them on their heads.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll hold it for you. They're like, no, miss, it's okay. I'm like, you do this every day, let me help you.
Yeah, for sure.
But to think about that, whereas we can just turn the sink on.
Yeah, that's so wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, indoor plumbing is like modern miracles, you know?
So, and that's not to say that all of Uganda was like that, but still, it's just, it was such a perspective shift and an appreciation, and I learned how to hand wash. They like literally, this family I stayed with gave me a bucket to take a shower in.
Yeah.
And they were like, you probably don't know what you're doing here, we'll give you a cup too. Because otherwise you're just going to dump it all in your head and have no more water. And just like, not wrong. Thank you. So
we've seen Americans before. They're a little slow.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting.
Everywhere has different customs. It's so, I mean, it is that perspective. It's that like kind of like it's refreshing. It's like it takes it back to how do we live with the earth more? Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think that we're going to be able to get rid of technology at all, but there are ways that we can be more sustainable, or there are ways that we don't have to have like planned obsolescence just to make more money, because money's not the goal, you know?
Yeah.
And we've completely lost sight of that aspect, and that's steamrolled so many different people in its way.
Exactly.
Not to beat a dead horse or anything, you know, but like...
It's still a problem until it's not.
Yeah, exactly. This is why we're doing this, is to talk about it, be part of the conversation, and hopefully more people contact me about it, you know.
Have you seen the documentary I Am?
I know what you're talking about. I don't think I've seen. I looked it up the other day to see it, and I couldn't find it like playing anywhere, like on YouTube. It wasn't. I don't think I could even find it on YouTube or Netflix or anywhere.
I found it on Netflix. I think I bought the DVD for like $2 or something. I don't even have a DVD player anymore.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, it's my favorite ever.
Oh,
it's
right.
like basically, I was writing my whole thesis, and then my teacher's like, "Have you seen this documentary?"
Yeah.
And it was everything I was talking about, and basically the premise is he was trying to figure out like what was wrong with the world, but then he was looking. The answer came into what was right with the world.
Okay.
And so that's why it was like I Am was at the end. It was like we have the choice to make the world right, and to basically we can only control what we do.
Yeah.
But we can control what we do. For the most part.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
it was just very uplifting and very like. Yes.
That's nice. That's it's nice.
It's nice. But it was real. You know.
Just put it over there on the countertop or on the over the fireplace.
Yeah. I actually met the director.
Oh yeah.
Actually at a different record place in Boulder.
He did some other movies too, some other bigger things, right?
Oh,
that guy.
Yeah.
That's
so he starts
right.
Out, his name's Tom Shadyac. He starts out the documentary talking about how he did all that, how he thought he was making the world a better place.
Yeah.
But really what he was doing was distracting people and focusing on things that weren't matter, spending billions of dollars on things that don't matter. And then he had like this accident, and he had a whole perspective shift.
Oh, okay.
And he had he also said he lived in this ginormous house, but he was so lonely.
Yeah.
He thought that was the dream, but then it was like once he moved in, it was just like empty.
Yeah.
And so for him to even admit all of that and then go in, I was like, using your power for good. And so then I was committed to meeting him.
Nice.
I tried a lot of things. None of them actually ended up working.
Yeah.
But I found out that he ended up moving to Boulder too, and I was like,
oh wow. Right
okay, I could try some things. But I never met him until one time I was at a breakfast place with my friend, and I was like,
Nice.
I gave him like my business card and I wrote on my receipt just like, I'm really grateful for the work you do. I'd love to collaborate because I want him to make a documentary on immigration.
Yeah.
It's not like they're stealing your jobs. There's so much more to it than that.
Yeah.
And also they're only taking jobs that nobody wants. So.
That's true too. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So yeah.
Yeah. He hit the jackpot with those first early.
Thank you.
I love your hair.
Thank you.
So cute.
Thank you so much.
You're on a podcast now too.
Oh, okay. nice, cool.
Okay.
It's Grandpa's Travelogue. If you're
Oh,
trying to
okay.
find it. So.
I have been looking for new podcasts. What's it about?
Nice.
I travel around and meet interesting people, and we talk about what's going on. And,
Nice. Okay, cool. I'll have to check it out. What's it called? Grandpa's Travelogue?
Yeah.
I'll check it out. It's on Spotify?
It is on Spotify. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Have a nice day, guys.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's funny.
Get business cards.
Yeah, you're right.
Leave it on the table. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's so many things I need to do on this podcast still. But yeah, I was looking him up on Wikipedia the other day too, because I was like, Jim Carrey and all that, and then like I was just intrigued by that, like how Jim Carrey got really famous really quick. Like his first 3 movies were like Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, and The Mask, like all in the same year.
Huge.
Yeah, 1994, he destroyed everything. Like.
In a good way.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. He's crushing it, right? Like, but, and yeah. So I was like looking up directors and things like that. I don't know. But yeah, I do think that if you trying to find this dream of like, of money, and like, what is it gonna buy you, really? Like at some point, yeah, like you get money and it's gonna make you happier. But then there's like a cutoff point where like it doesn't make you happier anymore. Like you're happy. It's just like on and off switch. It's not like it's going to be like a greater, thing.
All right, next documentary question. Have you seen Happy? It's also a documentary.
Okay, no.
Okay, so they say in there that there's a huge shift in happiness between someone that makes $5,000 a year versus $50,000 a year.
Okay.
But after $50,000, there's no difference between 50 to like $1 million.
Yeah.
It's a very negligible amount of difference because it's like once you have what you need, and honestly maybe that number has changed now because I feel like everything's more expensive.
Right. Ballpark.
Either way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I didn't know the numbers, but that's what I was thinking of too. Yeah, for sure.
So 50,000. I don't know. I'm not going into that. I don't make that.
Let's say 50 to 75 or something like that, right? I don't know. Who knows?
Enough. If you make enough.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
you have a little bit of extra, like.
Yeah. After that, how do you have time to use it? Like, there's no more time left at that point.
Yeah.
You still gotta sleep. Like, depending on like if you're living a minimalist lifestyle or like, even if you're how much is the most expensive condo in Manhattan? Like, I don't know. In here, yeah, exactly. They're not cheap, but like, if you can afford that and you're living fine, Yeah. But also, what I was gonna say is that like, if you have like these like mansions or like these, you have enough money to almost isolate yourself. You're like actually actively numbing yourself from the rest of the world. And I would imagine that's probably got to be hell in a lot of ways too. Like it's like you're completely overcompensating for this thing that doesn't even really exist. Like, well, and also in our culture though, like if we don't participate in the thing, then we have like a little caveat: you don't get to eat. And so that's scary right there. And so people overcompensate like crazy on top of that, because it's like we're threatened in a lot of ways in that capacity. It's pretty dumb.
It's interesting, like the amount of people that work a lot and they're like workaholics and they're married to their work.
Yeah, for sure.
Regardless of how much they make, their sense of self-worth is in their work.
Yeah.
Same sometimes.
Right.
Like,
yeah, for sure. I feel it. Yeah.
But that's a whole other thing when it's not even about the money after a certain point.
Yeah.
And it's just about where you put your value and where you like, and then you find out your whole life is gone because you.
Yeah.
I have a friend that was like, I'm gonna make so much money. Now I'm gonna work all the time. You work 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Literally slept for 5 hours and would do it every single day.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll retire when I'm older. He's like, you're gonna be so tired. You're
Right.
tired.
Yeah, exactly. That's just exhausting to hear, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I'm like, I'm worried
man.
about you. Granted, I stay awake until like 5 a.m. pretty much every night editing and doing homework.
Yeah.
But then he'd be up like messaging me. Like, cool, I have someone to talk to you. But still, I'm not happy for you for this. Yeah.
We gotta figure this thing out, man.
Yeah. But that's another thing, actually. Like, even when I'm home, because I go to school in the day, work a lot of times in the day too.
Yeah.
And then I stay up till 5 doing my editing from previous shoots.
Yeah,
And then
that's
it's
a lot
like,
of work.
I'll start my editing at night from 9 p.m. to 5. So I'm working at 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Opposite of normal people's 9 to 5. Don't sleep that much. But then it's like that amount of time where most people are sleeping. I don't really have that many people to talk to. It can get so lonely over time.
Yeah, definitely.
And it can just be like,
I did that all last winter.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, winter
Yeah.
is even worse.
Yeah.
Without the sun and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely get like seasonal affected. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say disorder, but I get
Well,
seasonally affected.
We're all very sensitive to the sun.
Yeah.
And just like the rhythms of it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's cycles that are disconnected from the sun itself that are like 24-hour cycles that almost like help us like turn on and off genes that help us keep track of like the time, you know? It's super weird, but like if you're in the dark like nonstop, like you lose track of your sense of being able to tell how much time is passing too.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's really wild.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was just writing a lot of songs last winter, instrumentals mostly, but just like, you know, 3 or 4 a week and then just staying up all night, you know. But it was nice. You don't have any distractions from people calling you, but then also like no one's there to talk to.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
when I wake up in the morning, I'll check my phone for notifications and stuff, but I won't have that many because I was like awake when people would message me or whatever. So
Exactly.
it's only like I sleep for like 5 hours too, mostly.
Yeah. I want my message bar to say 15. Damn it. Like, it's so weird.
Though sometimes I'll get messages right when I go to sleep, or my stepmom, she doesn't message me that much, but she'll play me back in the words with friends, like literally right when I go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I'll play her back real quick, and she's like, are you just getting up? And I'm like, I'm just going to bed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, like I always think it's weird when I get messages at like 6 or like 7 in the morning. And I'm like, man, these people are up early. Or, well, I think that they're still awake at first, and then I'm like, wait a minute, they're just waking up.
Yeah.
This is weird.
We're the weird ones.
Yeah.
Stay up till then.
Probably. I don't know many normal people though either, so
It's true.
I mean that's hard.
It's true.
So,
I do know a few normal sleepers.
yeah. Oh, normal sleepers.
Normal
yeah.
sleepers, yeah.
I do sleep quite a bit. Like I'll usually sleep like 8 hours.
That's good.
You know.
I like to. It just doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's also because I work a lot during the day, and I'm not necessarily like fast getting people their albums back, but I try to be. I just have so much work to do. So then I put my sense of self-worth into like their perceived, like my perceived disappointment from them.
Oh, right.
So I'm gonna like, if they're like, oh, it's been a week or something like that,
Yeah.
that's why I stay up so late to get it to them so quick. And that comes at my detriment a little bit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I feel like if I was to explain it to people,
Yeah.
and I do,
Okay.
But
okay. Yeah.
there are some customers who are honestly harder to work with than other people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, how am I gonna get around this without like stepping on toes or stepping on eggshells or whatever the expression would be.
Yeah, and it's like, how do I remind people that I'm human? And I can be such a harsh critic on myself to protect myself from from them doing it to me, I guess.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, I got this, almost done. Actually, this week I had 2 shoots already. I finished both the same day.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
It is
accomplishment,
a good feeling.
satisfaction.
Here you go.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping this is my job. This would be rad.
That would be rad, yeah. Around the country.
Yeah, exactly. Probably I want to hit New Orleans and Canada, and I'll probably go over to DC, because they're kind of like my next 3 ideas anyway.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. My New Orleans contacts are not reliable.
Really?
One of them might be, but I don't know.
I can help.
You can help?
I can try to help.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Just because Jazz Fest is in New
Yeah.
Orleans. I've never been to Jazz Fest, but I know a lot of people that go.
I've been to French Quarter Fest, or whatever that was that week. Yeah. That was fun.
I've never even been to New Orleans, actually.
Oh, damn.
I know. I want to go.
It's great, yeah. It's just keeping heritage or traditional things alive in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It feels great, and it's just like time tested, you know.
Yeah.
It's weird since you invent, recorded music, like we're in this race to figure out what's new, nonstop. And that really never existed before, And now it's like you go to New Orleans and it's like a world caught in time, And it's like frozen there. And it just feels so good for some reason. I like I like thinking about music from like really a long time ago, where like pockets of people would play like this for hundreds of years, and then the people in the town next would learn from them, and so on and so on. And then you'd have like this one traveling guy come to your town who brought songs from the last 3 towns, and played them for you, and the guy's like magic, and like it's like, whoa, how did you even think of that, It's like, well, I'll tell you this story. And then just completely lie the whole time, embellish everything, and like not tell anybody that you stole all those songs.
Tell everyone a different story every time.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be boring, that's for sure.
But I feel like, I don't know, I'm not a musician, but I feel like everybody either steals songs or gets inspiration from other people.
Yeah.
Problem is, I guess, that people don't give enough credit to like where it's actually due.
Yeah.
And I think, personally, I want to hear a story of like, hey, I actually heard this person say this word and it inspired this story, and that this person like encouraged me to do this, because that's the community.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're like, I pulled this from a dream, it's like, okay, cool story, bro, but like, I want the truth. I think the truth is cooler usually.
Sometimes it is from a dream, though.
I know. I'm not saying that it never is, but
Yeah. I wrote a song over the summer, and like the first verse was about direct experience, and then the second verse was the dream, and then the third verse was like.
I offended you.
What's that?
I offended you. You're like, this was from a dream.
That's like for real. Like I'm not a blue monster in real life, like. But it was really. I woke up and wrote it down because of I thought it was really weird. Like I was like a giant like blue like swamp monster or something, and like I was afraid of like people's opinions about me when I went to town. But they all like were very happy to see me and invited me in, and they all like. And even in the dream, they all like fell in love. Like I don't know, like the way the song goes is all the couples fell in love like it was their first time. But like that's what happened in the dream too, Like, and then I woke up and I was like, okay, I don't know what any of this means, and like I kind of wrote like an Aesop's fable in a sense about it at the time. So. I was really stuck on that, or at least for that hour.
That sounds like a good dream.
Yeah, it was. It really was. And then the third verse I like a lot too, because like I changed my voice. Like I have this thing with my voice where I can like kind of character act a little bit, and yeah, I don't know. It just went kind of to this like different world. Like it went dark. It went darker at that point. Because like the chorus goes back and forth between the more you love someone, the more you give it away. The more I want something, that's a really bad day or something. But then like the second time you say the more I want something, and then you take it, and then I chord change, and then they take me away, and then it gets like to a minor progression at that point, and it gets real dark, and I'm like something about I'm in the business of iron rust tears, so them soldiers thirsty for beers. You know, all this like weird, like I don't know, but like it's just,
I want to hear that.
It's just a lot of fun to do, you know.
Yeah, that's kind of like the acting we were talking about.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Right. Yeah.
I want to hear that song.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'm be finished mixing it in probably about a month or so. Yeah. Yeah. Well, cool. I don't know. I feel like this is a natural conclusion right now.
Okay.
Yeah, you feeling that?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Cool. Well,
right.
thanks for having.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being here.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Awesome.